as a Muslim community, has been trying to figure out, since 9/11 in particular, and over the last few years with the current president, how do we actually tell our story? How do we actually reclaim our narrative? And those words, reclaiming the narrative, have titled every single Islamic convention. I've been given that session like 20 times in the last 3 years. How do we reclaim the narrative? And there used to be an emphasis when you talk about reclaiming the narrative on, making sure that we get as many da'wah pamphlets out there as possible so that people know the truth about Islam in advance. There used to be this emphasis on reclaiming the narrative that was very much so within the realm of da'wah. But now, reclaiming the narrative means a million different things to different people. So literally over 1 million different people here in the United States as a Muslim community. So I want to address this topic mainly to put out this idea, or to first and foremost negate this idea that changing the narrative should take precedence over actually changing ourselves. The second thing is that if a person are looking to change the narrative, if we become inauthentic to who we are in the process, meaning if at the end of the day we're able to usher forward the Muslim community but not remain authentic to our teachings, then we might have changed the narrative, but we would have ultimately failed, because Allah Azza wa Jal requires us to maintain the coreness of our identity and our Islam at the end of it all, as we're out there delivering a message about who we are, about what our religion teaches. We can't lose the core of our identity in the interest of advancing our interests as a Muslim community in the United States. And the third thing is this: there is an authentic way to reclaim the narrative about the Muslim community, about Islam. And those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. And we actually find a way that the Prophet ﷺ was able to do those things, to actually tell the truth about the community without masking the things they actually needed to change about themselves, or obscuring the things that made them true believers in the first place and made them a group of Muslims with a capital M in the first place. There is a way to find that balance, and you find it from the Prophet ﷺ. And I wanted to actually start off with that very first call, where the Prophet ﷺ talked about what his mission was. A lot of us know the story, you've heard the story told in many different ways, with many different lessons that were extrapolated from it, of the Prophet ﷺ standing on Safa and calling the people to Islam for the very first time. The story of being rejected by a people that held him in high esteem for all of those years. Going from being a beloved member of his community to being ostracized in his community. Going from being someone who was looked at as an honest man, as someone that had the goodwill of the community at heart, to now being looked at as an enemy, an internal enemy who looks to sow seeds of discord amongst his society, who looks to break up the tribes, who is foreign, who has a strange ideology, who is a magician, a sorcerer, and all those types of things. That moment that the Prophet ﷺ stands on that mountain and calls the people to his message, and ultimately faces rejection, or at least in those moments faces rejection, and the call of rejection is led by Abu Lahab, his own uncle. There was a lot that happened before that incident.